The start button, and I think we start with the interview and then we continue with a short office tour maybe.
Well, we'll see. From the interview I will tell you some news about this office as well, so maybe we will see how to continue that.
Okay, I am excited. Okay, great, so let's start with this interview. We are now at Viventor headquarters. Welcome back to Investment Talks, Bernhard Hummel Investment Talks. On my side now Andrius, CEO of Viventor, the new CEO. We had a lot of discussions in all these forums and platforms in the community about this, and I'm really excited that we can ask you right now, and thank you so much for your time. On my left side, Alex, also thank you so much for your time. You know him maybe from the YouTube channel Northern Finance, so he also has a YouTube channel, and
Exactly.
we will do this trip together. This interview will be on my channel, so I just make the introduction of this one, and Alex will also do some other interviews with other platforms right now. So maybe just that we start the interview. People don't know you. I had the interview last time in Riga. Maybe you can just introduce yourself to our viewers in a few words.
Sure. So I'm basically a hardcore banker. Most of my employment career I worked in a big Swedish bank, SEB, Skandinaviska Skilda Banken. Let's say highlights from my career is that I spent quite a lot of time working in cash management, dealing with large corporate customers. Then I moved to to manage the department of digital banking. So it was a few years ago when all these old school banks were doing digital transformations, introducing new internet bank systems, introducing mobile applications, etc. So it was an exciting time, and I was part of the development team that managing the development team that led those changes. And my last position was for almost 2 years. I was managing Innovation Center of SEB. Innovation Center is a place where this connection between big banks and startups and fintechs are happening, because these big banks want to maybe or incumbent banks as they are called want to have some kind of relationship with the new companies, dynamic companies, maybe build some new products together. And when working there, you spend a lot of time and talking with the startup community, the fintech community. So sort of that kind of led me to this place when I decided to do this rather big career change for me. It was my first probably big time outside of SEB, my first employer. And the position is top management, so full responsibility, and full, of course, in one case full responsibility, in another case full of ideas and full of possibilities to grow. So it's exciting.
Okay, thank you so much. Also, we are really excited about your history, about your career. So thank you for being the CEO of our investment platform, where we are as investors, of course. And now to go deeper in it, before we get the really tricky questions, but one more to the introduction. Maybe you can just give us a short introduction on the Viventor platform. What do you offer, or what is it, for those viewers who don't know it that well maybe. And also interesting, because we also were not sure about it, maybe you can tell us especially the holding structure. So what is the holding company, what is behind, so level up.
Okay. So just bear in mind that I'm here only for 2 months, so I'm not that maybe still trying to grasp as much as I can about the system, but maybe some people, some investors are knowing the industry even better than me, because I'm still fresh here, so bear with me please. But
no problem.
Viventor platform is an online marketplace for loans, where loan originators or companies that issue loans to borrowers can sell rights of claims to these loans to investors. And investors are both private individuals and companies who sign up online digitally on the platform and are able to invest into these loans by buying rights of claim to them. So this investment means that you, as an investor, can transfer money from your account to our platform, and then you can see a list of loan originators and their loans, which you can choose from variety of them. You can select country, you can select type of loan, you can select interest rate in which you are willing to invest, and you are making an investment. By making an investment, you are signing a digital contract with the loan originator, which means that the rights of claim to part of this loan will belong to you afterwards. And that's the deal. So it's an online marketplace where these investments can happen.
Okay, perfect. And I just interrupt you, sorry,
Sure.
but I think it's an interesting interruption because I'm one of those investors, of course, and now again a happy investor because we can meet. And there were some issues in the last months at Viventor. You know about this, and this was also with the change to you as a new CEO. We will come to this later in the interview. But I'm really excited at Viventor right now. Why? Because the return is pretty good. Yeah, it's one of the best from the interest rate for us as an investor, and it's working at least. Yeah, so I'm happy with it, and this is part of my income, of course. To be honest, why I can live the life I live at the moment. Yeah, so thank you for that at this point, and thank you for taking care. Yeah, so maybe now the mother company, the holding structure. What is it called? Who are the big boys behind?
Okay, so as far as I know, because I don't know I haven't been here from the start. So Viventor started as a project of this company, this Prestamos Prima company in Spain here.
That's very important, yeah.
And this company here in Spain is actually itself a loan originator. It operates a few brands here in Spain. One is, I think, payday loan, another is installment loans. And starting as a project, it means that a lot of people are employed internally from other departments to work on a sort of pilot project. It happened, I think, 2 years ago, the start. And after that, the project grew, and Prestamos Prima is a part of this Digital Finance International financial group. And after this, let's say, company grew to a sufficient amount, it was also decided to onboard not only this company's loans, but also another competitors' sort of loans, not maybe direct competitors, but from other markets. And it proved a sustainable and valuable business model. So it was decided to, let's say, transform this company into a standalone object, not a part of this group. At the moment, we are looking, when we're talking with a few investors who would be willing to onboard this company into their portfolio and to make it not related to any loan originators, because for the company it would make much more sense to have ownership structure in such a way that no loan originators are associated with it. So for other loan originators,
for diversification,
yes, for diversification, and then for other loan originators it is more, let's say, attractive to join this platform, so that you know that it's not related and affiliated with other loan originators. So that's the deal so far, and still as we are in some, let's say, discussions with a few of these investors, so I'm not at liberty to disclose any kind of inside information at this moment. So that's the current status with our ownership structure.
Okay, thank you so much. I think Alex, now it's your turn for one question.
Yeah, so my first question would be, you switch from sort of traditional banking now to peer-to-peer lending, and why exactly at this company? Why not any other one?
Just opportunity arose. They contacted me, and that was
all right. That's a straightforward and honest answer. I like that.
Yeah. Frankly speaking, I knew about these platforms before, and I haven't invested into them myself previously. But when I learned about it, it made me, very interested into this, because of obviously the amount of interest that is generated here, and in general that in this digital world in which we live now, it is very interesting opportunities arise that you can eliminate sort of intermediary and start to connect investors and borrowers online, and it provides a lot of opportunities. So for me it is very interesting topic and a very interesting industry. That's why I chose to join it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I can understand that very well, because it's also one point for me as a B2B investor, which is really fascinating me, because that's much better return than on many other investments, I believe.
Yeah.
Maybe I just read it from my interview questions here, because otherwise we get lost maybe. So the news and the changes to the last interview about 1 year ago, I will put the link of the last interview in Riga in the description, so you can follow up as a viewer. What happened to the former CEO of Viventor is one part. I just finished the question, and then you can make short answer on all the connected questions. There was a lot of confusion in the community regarding the CEO of Viventor and former CEOs. Maybe you could enlighten this and provide some clarity in the matter right now.
Again, I can provide you as much clarity as I have myself, because I joined, as I said, only in the end of July, so it's probably 2 months this day. And as far as I know, the former CEO, Tom Sniparts from Viventor, chose to pursue his own investment, his own private project that he wants to do. I don't know what exactly it is, but I believe, as I understood, it is something also related to lending and fintech, and maybe it is best to reach out to him and ask him. But it's basically the idea that he didn't want to be like only an employee in a company, but wanted to become his own businessman as well.
Okay. I understand. What happened to Alexis Andersons? He was in the last interview, the former business development manager. Do you know something about that?
We didn't cross paths. He already left the company when I joined, so I cannot comment on that.
I see. Before we ask more questions, can you maybe tell us, are there any other news changes about Viventor since the last year investors should know?
So the big change is that about this sort of what I said in the beginning about this office and this disconnection from this Prestamos Prima, because of that my goal is, I am from Lithuania and the company is in Lithuania. My goal is to build the team, to continue growing the team and build the team in Lithuania. Actually, even today we have one IT guy here from Lithuania who is learning about our development platform from the local developers here. So main change organization-wise is that there will be a company with employees, with a sort of biggest pool of employees concentrating in Lithuania under one roof.
Where in Lithuania?
In Vilnius.
In Vilnius. Okay, so we have to go there, Alex.
Yeah.
Sorry for that. It's always, last time I was in Riga, they told me you have to go to Barcelona because the empty office in Riga. Yeah. Now I'm in Barcelona. You tell me I have to get. We are always traveling. That's good. So it's something good as well.
It's a dynamic thing. Of course, every new manager brings his own ideas.
Yeah, sure.
So it's that's how it goes. But for the foreseeable future, I see it growing like that.
But it does not change the holding structure behind. No, it's just the office. And one more question.
Maybe one follow-up to this.
Yeah.
So you said this is according to the manager. Is it also because of regulation?
I know that you also probably have a question about the regulation, so I can maybe elaborate on that.
Okay, we will come to this later. Perfect. No, where are you? Yeah, exactly. Will the office to visit stay in Riga like it used to be, and the headquarters in Barcelona? Oh, we already covered this, I think. But Riga office will stay. We
will keep employees in Riga because maybe we can come to this licensing question a little bit. So we are from the very beginning. So a few until. I don't know, a few months ago or a year ago, a lot of platforms with similar business models as Viventor were operating inside Latvia as registered companies in Latvia because of rather favorable conditions from the regulation point of view, that it didn't sort of mandatorily require the license for it, considered as a new, not phenomenon, but a new business model in place. But recently the Latvian regulator, FKTK, has explained to the market that these rights of claims and object of selling them online is considered a financial instrument, a debt instrument, sort of like a bond. And marketplaces that operate on such in such environment should be licensed under licensed as a financial brokerage company. Yeah. The same company that would trade stocks, etc. So maybe there are different categories of this financial brokerage. So we are currently going along the licensing path for applying for this minor part of this licensing, and then looking if we need to expand it further on. So for that reason, we are applying for a financial brokerage license in Latvia. and after receiving this license, we will be able to passport this license across European Union and provide the services across the Europe outside of Latvia, but starting from Latvia. We chose Latvia. This license is the same in every country of Europe that we would apply, but we chose Latvia because the company is already known to the regulator.
Okay.
And it is we have people employed there who let's say know well about the regulation and about the things, so it's very easy for us to do it like that. And Latvia is just I don't know 3 hours drive from Vilnius, so it's a neighbor country. It doesn't how to say make sense to do everything in Lithuania. We can do it part of it from Latvia, so that's the reason. And for that reason, we will be keeping a small office in Latvia, but the core team, developers, marketing, sales, customer support will be gathering in Vilnius.
Okay, I understand. And just maybe one interesting follow-up question connected to this. Is there a deadline for you? So it will be important for the investors. So what happens if you are not in time frame, or is there a time frame for the regulation? Or
we are in sort of business talks with the regulator, and the agreement, at least now with the regulator, is such that until we are on path to this licensing, provide all necessary documentation, provide necessary answers to the regulator, there will not be any, like, let's say, blockers or stoppers to our business. We'll be able to do it as it is now until we receive the license. So that's the key. How to say, the key goal in this, and the most important part is that our business does not stop while we are in an application mode.
Yeah, exactly. That was also interesting for the investors, of course. One more question back to Riga. You have different addresses on the website to the real address, because I had another address to visit when I was there in the office tour than the one that was on the website. What's behind that?
So our legal address is address of the legal company that we outsource our let's say accounting and legal activities to. So this is the pure technical point. So a lot of invoices we receive on post, and that post is our legal address. So for that reason we're keeping it, because our, let's say, business office, as you see now, is rather moving, so from place to place. So that's just simple technical reason.
But if investors might want to visit you, because it's also some part of transparency, of course, if you can visit the office, can meet the people, because of course it's a fintech, but it's also about the people behind, at least. Yeah? You trust the people and that behind the fintech. Yeah.
I think the best place to visit Viventor and to see its people will be in Vilnius.
Okay.
Currently, we are still working as a rather small team operating outside. We have a private small office in one co-working spaces, but later we will grow very quickly. We will grow into a much bigger team, and we will rent a separate space for that. So we will, of course, inform all our investors about it, and you as well, on our blogs and on our social networks.
Do you have a time frame for that? When to expect this?
I believe until the end of this year would be
okay. Okay, very interesting. Yeah. Okay, so maybe let's continue to the financials. Is Viventor making profit or losses?
Currently, Viventor is still a loss-making company. Almost break-even point is being reached, but as we are still in the very big growth mode, hiring new people, especially also this licensing is quite expensive thing, so I believe we will not reach it as we expected, but we should be reaching it by my goal is to reach it by Q2 2020.
Okay. We will ask you then.
We will meet
up again. And another question is the holding profitable?
Yes.
Okay. So Bastian, one of our community, told me I should ask you for financial reports. Is there a plan to make it public, and if not, why?
So financial reports are public by default. All companies, Viventor is a company registered in Latvia. In Latvia, all financials of all companies are publicly available. I can share with you a link, and you can share it with your audience, and they can download it and look it up.
So you can give me the link.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So Bastian, here's the answer. We will put the link in the description.
One follow-up of mine would be, I haven't seen the report, to be honest. Is it audited? And if by whom, and how extensive is the report? So is it the basics, or is it much explanatory text also to it?
I think it is rather basic, and I don't think it is audited at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so maybe just a dry question again. For case Viventor and or its mother company is going bankrupt, what would this mean for the investors? What would be the procedure in such a case?
So Viventor's money of investors is kept in a segregated account. We do not account for this. We do not process these funds on our, let's say, books. It is off balance from accounting point of view. So technically, if Viventor would go bankrupt, these funds should not be taken by the creditors or these how you call them, bankruptcy operators, and this money would be still available for investments to take back.
How would be the procedure?
Sorry?
The procedure if there is no Viventor anymore?
The bankruptcy operator would probably need to carry that out. So,
okay.
Because then I would probably also not be here anymore if such things would happen.
Yes. So they would connect to the investors, or probably, hopefully.
Yeah, but I think the same idea is with every platform. So.
Yeah, of course. It's just I always ask this question because it's always interesting for the investors. Of course, it's unlikely, and we all as investor, of course, hope it will never happen as well as you as employee. So it's very unlikely, hopefully. Yeah, but you always ask this question.
Yeah. For Viventor to go bankrupt is highly unlikely scenario, because we are not a risk-taking company. So we are a marketplace operator. We earn commission fee based on the market activities that happen here. So loan originators are taking much bigger risk in their business because they are lending money to borrowers. We are basically only connecting already issued loans with the investors. So it's more or less a safe business model.
I think we have to come back to this question as well when we talk about A40 in the next minutes. But one last question connected to earlier about this licensing topic. I also talked to a lot of CEOs like Mintos and so on, Martins Sulte. And he told me Mintos is, for example, going for an IBAN for each account. Is there a similar idea on Viventor? To give all investors their own IBAN?
That can be an idea. That is one idea we are, let's say, considering. To do that, you would either require an e-money license, which is a separate license, or you can find a partner who already has an e-money license and do it with them, like a company that already has it. So it is even a better idea from sort of the question you asked about this bankruptcy, because it would not be our money in one. It would not be investors' money in one account, but it would be a separate IBAN account for each investor. So it could not be. It is much cleaner business case for that reason. So currently we are not considering to apply for e-money license because it is again extra expenses and steps. We want to do it step by step, but. We're always open for discussion for partnership with an e-money license company. There are quite a few in Lithuania as well, and also across Europe. So who knows? Maybe it will be as well. But currently, our goal is only to apply for this financial brokerage license in Latvia.
Okay, I understand, because of course opinions on that are very different, and also in the investors side. I know a lot of them, because we have a very big community and network already because of the YouTube videos and all that. A good friend of mine is, for example, Lars Frobel. He dislikes the IBAN. I don't know why exactly. I think it's because of some tax issue. I of course appreciate it very much. I would prefer the IBAN. Of course, because of the same reasons you mentioned now. And also there would be the idea behind it's just an investor stream that you get maybe one bank card, and then you can just pay with your return. So it would be
that is
like self-fulfilling.
But that that already brings you very close to becoming a bank already, because in this especially licensing case, it is very important to distinguish two things in this marketplace business. Is that distinguish the difference between depositors of a bank who put deposits in a bank and investors. So investor means that he's risk taker, and depositor is just a keeper of funds. So in our case, we want to very clearly segregate that this is not deposits in a bank. These are investments, and money is at risk basically. So you are earning much higher interest than deposit, but you're also taking some of that risk, and that is especially a very big case when you are applying for a license, because the regulator wants to understand how are you treating and explaining the business model to your customers or investors or depositors. So for us, it is now we're focusing on, as I said once again, on this financial brokerage license.
And it's just because in my last interview I put it also in the description, I think, with Martins, because he's going this way for really a banking card, a banking account for each investor.
But that of course adds a lot of ease of use and how to say, much quicker access to your funds right away. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Alex has some questions right now.
Yeah, some questions. Sure. And the first one of those would be, how will you continue to differentiate yourself and your platform funding businesses or working capital? How will you look at that?
You mean from the competition?
Yes.
For me, I think it is the most important thing is to provide investors the opportunity to invest into a variety of loans and a variety of countries, variety of industries and loan types. So currently, for example, we have loans from Kazakhstan, we have loans from Balkans, which not every marketplace currently have. So we plan to add Asia as well there, looking for very interesting opportunities there. So if you are like into these kinds of things and investing and want to diversify your portfolio and want to have some sort of more exotic investments, my goal is to provide that opportunity to our investors. In addition, I would like to, we would like to implement a lot of changes to the platform that mostly would affect the clarity of investments, and would be more and more open information about loan originators, about their business. We want to introduce as well credit scoring of loan originators, so that investors would know and they could differentiate what risk they are taking by investing into one or another loan originator. So in the future, our investors can expect these changes to come.
Okay, and those new exotic loans, will they be denoted in euros, or do investors have to exchange their currency?
We will see about that. Of course, the one way is to put the risk on the loan originator, and for investors would be also everything in euros. But another thing is maybe to find some kind of intermediary solution that both loan originators and investors will be happy, some hedging or stuff like that. So currently still in a very early stages this is, but we will see how it will turn out. Okay,
thank you. And what business segment, so to say, are you seeing as most important right now? So would that be your maybe business financing side, or would that be on the real estate? What are you focusing most on right now?
Like I said, we are not focusing on any particular industry. We're mostly focusing on providing as many opportunities as possible, and to see that there is also a possibility. Some investors like to invest very quickly into these payday loans and receive all the money right away in a few weeks or a month. Some like to invest into safer instruments with mortgages and to have a constant growth of their portfolio. So that all of these needs are satisfied is our goal.
Okay. And for the working capital or business financing side, do you have, when you give loans to these businesses, do you have covenants included?
We have some, let's say, tools tools in place in our agreements with these partners, with these loan originators, that allow us to take certain action. For example, if a portfolio of loan originator is late more than 20%, we can unilaterally ask them to buy back the whole portfolio from our platform. So things like that are in place. But also, as a part of more clarity to our investors, we plan to implement a few more of covenants to loan originators.
Could you give me an example of that?
let's say if we onboard a new company which is still not very well known to us, and we are not yet understanding how well they operate the business.
Yes.
One covenant could be to keep a part of their portfolio on our platform as a guaranteed deposit to our on our platform. Let's say 5 or 10% of the portfolio could be kept as a guarantee for us.
I like that very much. Cool. And I think now we go back to Bernhard.
Back to me, okay. There is this new regulation in lending in Poland. This regulation thing on Poland. What impact did it have on Viventor and the group?
As far as I know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not Polish myself, but the point of this regulation is that the government wants to put a cap on the loans that is payday loans that you could not lend for more than, is it 10%?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's much too less. I mean, it's really much less for the risk.
Yeah, and it looks like the stick has two ends. On one side, it may be good that people will be able to not to borrow for not more than 10%, but on the other side, not all of these people will be able to actually get the money because the risk is too high. So yes, this will dramatically impact the industry if this law will be in place. But as I understand, it's still under discussion, and I think it is October when it should be either
passed or
not passed, if I'm not mistaken, but I might be. But as this is the information that I have. And of course, it will impact and maybe even severely impact the industry in Poland. On the other hand, I understand that this law only touches upon the individual loans, not business loans. So business loans, SME loans, working capital financing can be continued in a previous manner. So we will see how it will turn out and if it will be a sustainable thing.
Okay, very interesting. We will follow up this.
Yeah.
And now we come to a very interesting question, I think, and especially also for the community. This is this A40 topic. You know very well about it because you met the CEO of A40. And so my question would be, what was the real story behind all that, and how did you handle it? And maybe you can give us some transparency in this specific case. What was the real story? Because in all these forums and communities, everybody says something, but it's not from you. So maybe you can give us a real answer. What's the story behind and what happened really? Because it was some not so nice days for us as an investor.
Okay, so just a disclaimer that when we say as a part of solving this issue with 40 companies, we signed a contract with them, settlement contract, in which we both agreed to not disclose too many details about the sort of our partnership, and I can only let's say answer to you in the boundaries of this.
But it's our money, so it's very important for us. It's my money at least. Yeah?
But I believe my answers will be sufficient for you. So I cannot say exact reasons, but it might be technical reasons. It might be some just operating things on the for as a loan originator. But it happened unfortunately in the same moment when the management was changing. So I became the manager, and I just it
was a good start, no?
Yeah, it's a good start. As part of my work, I was still trying to understand the business model, logic, people, etc. And in the same time, this issue was starting to arise, and so that's maybe also partially partially due to this management change. Maybe we could have handled it much faster and with less, let's say, impact. But anyway, obviously the loan originators need to cover the repayments for the loans that they have sold on the platform, and this is happening by transferring money to Viventor platform. When Viventor receives this money, we distribute it to our investors. You can see it in your investor account that it has been topped up. And it's happened so that these companies were late on the payments for these loans, and in addition this, we have these buyback loans, which means that if a loan is late for more than 60 days, the loan originator must buy back the full amount for the remainder of the loan to investors. And if quite a lot of these buybacks happen at the same time, unfortunately, and if companies are in business lending mode and they have very big loans and not just small loans, but big amounts of loans remaining, this can impact their working capital, and that was basically the reason why this happened. So they were, as I understand it, they were basically struggling to keep up with repayments. So what we did is that we agreed on a repayment schedule that they would pay it back in a agreed time, and they have done quite a big efforts, and I appreciate that. And this is going on well, I would say, and they are reaching this amount when they are fully recovered, sort of, and the business is going on well for them. It's just a matter of allowing them to do it without impacting the business more severely, because in general the business is going smoothly for the companies. It's just one, let's say, a few unfortunate events happening at the same time. And on our side, I can say that all investors, who some of them might still see that they have loans invested in the platform, but the buybacks should have already been triggered, but still the time is ticking. We will process these buybacks and credit to the investors with late fees once we receive the full payments from the companies. So we're still managing the situation, talking to them almost every day, and they are cooperative, and everything is going, I would say, smoothly, and we should be back on track in a short while. So we were writing on the platform that it should be covered within a few weeks from there, but unfortunately it takes longer than that, but the progress is there, I can assure you of that.
Okay, thank you very much, and I really appreciate your work on this, and as an investor, of course, and thank you for that, because as an investor we have just Viventor who helps us at least, and I also appreciate very much that you met very fast in Poland with the CEO of A40. I don't know his name right now. A40 CEO.
Claudius Schitek.
Yeah, thank you for that. I didn't write it down on the question, so I lost the name. Very tired today. And you met very fast together with Martin Sulte, I think, from Mintos. You had a meeting in Poland together.
No, we didn't go together. No,
it was separated.
It was separate. We just happened to be on the same day.
It was on the same day because I don't know, there are so many stories behind it. Just want to get some clarity in this year, because one is saying this and that. Now we have you on our side, so it's much easier to say, okay, we ask you and not somebody who doesn't really know the story behind. Okay, so another question about this is for me, of course, due diligence. Martin said, okay, they already reduced a lot of loans on their platform from A40 much earlier. Also, I think Kubir, or was there another one who threw out A40 because there was the risk was too high for them, but of course Viventor did not reduce it. Of course it was before your time, so sorry for the question, but you're the CEO right now. Was there a problem in the due diligence that you didn't react earlier on that as Viventor company, or?
Before my time, I cannot definitely say what was the real reasoning behind, but as far as I saw the company now, and we have the latest financial statements from them, and they are, by the way, as you know, a publicly listed company in Warsaw Stock Exchange. So I see no let's say reasons for them to have some severe financial problems, and as I explained earlier, this Polish law about the new interest caps, it only touches upon the private individuals, and both companies operating in corporate lending. So for them it shouldn't be a direct impact on that. So A40 will not be, as I understood from them, listing new loans on Viventor platform or other platforms in peer-to-peer. It is the strategy to exit from these platforms and to seek financing from investment funds or some other places.
Bonds, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
But still they have problems to pay back the debt they have on Viventor, on our investments.
Yes, they
still have problems.
They still are repaying it, I would say.
They're repaying it, but they have problems to make it on time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the time that we expected them to repay has already passed, but they're doing almost daily repayments, and we are crediting this right away to our investors.
So latest news today on that issue?
I think we have 4 or 5 loans that are still need to be repaid for our investors, and that's it.
Okay.
I know that we have 2 companies, a Forti Factor and a Forti Finance in this. So Forti Factor is fully on track and they repaid all of their debt to investors, and a Forti Finance still has some outstanding amount remaining.
Okay, we will check this on my platform, I think, today, if I'm
Okay.
if there is something late. Okay, thank you very much. I think Alex, and if you have questions, of course, put it in the comments. Yeah.
Exactly. And now enough for the 40 questions.
Yeah, I think so. Sorry.
Let's go back to your company. So you said in the beginning the company is still making losses because it's growing so much. So when you're growing, what do you look for when hiring new employees to work with?
Now I'm focusing on maybe 3 areas. I want to grow a good customer support team. We are actually hiring people who would be able to talk and write on a very professional level in both English and German, because we have I don't know, a quarter or a third of our investors are probably from Germany and German-speaking countries. People maybe in Germany like investing so better, and it's generally a big country with the most citizens in Europe, so that's probably the statistical reason. So hopefully we will be able to onboard these people quite soon. So competence, of course, and language skills and understanding of finances in this area. I want them to be hungry for growth and to grow together with this company into something more professionally, individually. On the other side, I am also looking for to grow the team that is working with loan originators who understand the credit risk, who understand how to evaluate the financials of the company, evaluating financials of a lender or for loan originator, and evaluating financials of let's say furniture factory is 2 different things, because by evaluating financials of a loan originator, you actually need to evaluate the portfolio of loans they are issuing, because they are only as good as the customers are. And it requires specific knowledge and specific skills. So we're looking for that. Good thing that I'm myself from a bank, so we have a lot of connections, relations in the banking world. So hopefully we'll be able to find new people that have good solid experience in that as well. And so customer support, loan originator management, and of course the IT. There was also discussion if to continue with outsourcing, continue with growth by outsourcing the IT team or hiring in-house development team. But I see Viventor platform as a core part of our business models, because we don't have any physical offices. It's our only channel that we sell through, so I would like to keep it as close as possible to ourselves. So we'll be growing an internal IT team. Maybe we'll do some outsourcing on the side, but the core team will be hired here. So of course the technical skills, competencies, and the same criteria apply to these guys as well. By the way, if you would like to join Viventor team, you're welcome. Just send me your resume, or just send me that you're interested in this, and we can discuss. We are looking for many employees in various areas. As I said, we're growing pretty fast, and all are welcome to join us if you have the necessary skills and are willing to relocate to Vilnius.
Yeah, sure, and I will put the link of Viventor platform just in the description. So if you want to invest, if you want to apply, whatever, if you want to connect, just press the link, and it's. By
the way, since we are talking now a little bit more to the audience, I would like to use the opportunity and also encourage people to try out Viventor and invest in our platform right now, because especially now we have every platform, every competitor we have, and us as well. We are our core, let's say, day-to-day business strategy is to manage the balance of supply and demand, so that there is enough loans on the platform and enough investors who would be able to invest into these loans. And some platforms have, let's say, more money available for investment than loans, and in some cases, some have more investment, more loans available for investments that there is investor money. So currently, we have, as I looked a few days ago, it was up to more than 1 million loans available for investment in our platform. So if you wanted to try out Viventor, or maybe to add funds to your account, I think it's now the perfect time. Because I know that some other platforms are struggling with investors are struggling to find loans to invest in, because they are, like, let's say, over capacity of investors is there. So in our case, investors are more than welcome to join and invest in the loans. And as you said in the beginning, the return rates are rather good. And in general, this actually means that when there are more loans available for investment, then investors, the loan originators, are increasing the interest rates for which they're borrowing. So currently we have even 15% loans available for investment. So please, welcome.
Yeah,
okay.
And it
link
will
in
all be linked. All be linked. Okay, and
perfect.
Maybe one more question from my side.
Yeah.
How do you see the future of the company? What do you want to reach in your time as CEO here?
Maybe some summarizing of what I said before. I want to grow the company in terms of both employees, personnel, and also in terms of portfolio. We want to have the possibility to offer our investors various investment opportunities from around the world where it is legally, technically possible to do. And to, in this case, also provide the investors as much clarity about investments as we can, so that it is a more favorable platform for us. Also, I didn't mention it before, but one thing we're also considering for the future, and I think many platforms are considering it for the future, is securitization of loans and packaging them into bonds and selling them to institutional investors. So this will allow us to tap not only into retail market, where we deal with each investor individually, but we could also attract investment funds and companies like that. I know that there are companies in the United States that already are doing that. So in Europe it's not yet so popular, but maybe we will be the pioneers, who knows.
Oh, that's very exciting, I think.
Yeah.
I think we covered so many questions right now. It's really 45 minutes already.
Crazy.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much
much
for coming to Barcelona to visit with us, to meet with us, and to make it possible for us to visit this headquarter office.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much to the viewers for watching this interview.
Thank you.
Now I think we are really excited to exchange, because this is where all of us can learn from each other. So just write all your ideas about this in the comments, please. And so looking forward for that. And I think we will finish with this summary. And
thank you for your time.
thank you for everything, and goodbye. And don't forget to subscribe the channel if you didn't do it right now. Also, of course, Alex's channel, I will put it in the description. And thumbs up, please. Perfect.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.